Good morning, good people. Today is Saturday, November 16th. We're already on the second half of the month. Ugh, time goes by so quickly. Oops. I bit myself shaving. Okay, cool. Oops. Anyway, here we are, Saturday. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. We are in southwestern Nevada, as I say, east of Death Valley and west of Sin City, in Art Norrie George Bell Area 51 spooky territory, people. That's where we are. And today is G.school. What does that mean? Well, so our mission here is to help our students and other interested people on their journey through this transcendent life. We do it through this podcast and the worksheet. The podcast has two benefits. One is building better habits, and that's by continuing to show up every day. Make it part of your routine every day. And then we have a subroutine on that routine, which is to always try to do it a little bit better. So whatever you did yesterday, when you showed up yesterday prepared, try to be a little bit more prepared, try to be a little bit more focused, try to be a little bit more precise. When you're going to do the worksheet, try to be a little bit, do a little bit more, take a little bit more. And good morning, Wata Bevy. It's like water, fluid like water. What is the thing? Bruce Lee, like water. How are things in Fort Jax today? How is things in Fort Jax? Be like water. There you go. Be like water, flowing, blessed. Of course, water can be used to clean away things too, to wash away the old. All right, so the podcast, repetition. Number one. Number two, community. You are missed when you are not here. But the idea is not to be missed. The idea is to be present in your life, to be present in your life. And the third thing is the worksheet. That is where the magic happens. You might think it is the actual podcast. It's me. No, no, it's not me. Better than ever. Blessed. Okay, cool. It is not me. It is the worksheet. Right. That's where the experts speak. That's where we get the informazione on what is important in moving through this. Yes, I wasn't on the Peloton, but I did my 10-minute stretch. That's my new part of my new workout, is to get my 10-minute stretch in before this. And then the next thing is to get my 10-minute arms and light weights in before this too. And all that requires is one little thing. I get out of bed 10 minutes earlier. It's not that I need to wake up because I'm awake. It's that I start doing things. I do Hallow. I do stuff I study. I do my work before I get out of bed. So dang, essay. There goes the Peloton. Okay, so big wind-up, big disclaimer of what we're doing, because if you don't know where you're going, any path will take you there. So we're trying to help people through this this journey of life. This is not all there is. We do have transcendent souls. Maybe we'll talk about that today, because our subject for today is pan or panen. Pan or panen. Pan or panen. I could just say that. That could be kind of like a mantra. Pan or panen. Pan or panen. Try saying that. Pan or panen? It just kind of flows. It's like water. Correct. Pantheism or panentheism. Right. Is it in all things or is it all things? All things or in all things? All right. So that's what we're doing. That is what our topic is today is G.school. How do we help people? Well, so we help them through the podcast and the worksheet. The worksheet is structured around a 4-week neuroscience-oriented approach to success. This is actually the end of week 2, day 6 in week 2, inside my skull-sized kingdom. And we have 4 aspects, like 4 legs of a table or 4 parts of a boat. So if it was 4 legs of a table, we have the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. If it's a boat, it's the sails, the rudder system, steering system, below deck, and the hull. And those match up with the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. So the sails are like the physical, helps you move, get move somewhere. Physical fitness and health. Mental, the steering mechanism to be able to go against the current, to use the wind, to use what's with us, the current and the wind, to get to where we want to get. So we're not subject to the current and what's around us. So the ability, the rudder system is the ability that is learning. The below deck is what's below deck, the galley, i.e. the kitchen, the sleeping area, the storage area, the place you go when it's too cold outside or too hot outside. It's the place you go for comfort, to relax, to recover, to regenerate. And then the whole of the ship is the spiritual part. Oh, so the below deck is the emotional part. The whole is the spiritual part. It's what keeps us being able to move, to go anywhere. And if the sails fail, if the rudder fails, if you have nothing in the below deck, it's barren. If the whole is intact, the journey continues. If the whole gets breached, the journey ends. The spiritual side is that which enables you to get up when you get knocked down, and you will get knocked down. So that's the spiritual side. Here, we're riding on the fact that this is a culturally Christian country, and it's culturally Christian because Christianity, because Jesus, we believe Jesus was the Savior incarnate. And if he was the Savior incarnate, then it's pretty clear what we need to do. So that is our belief set. If you believe Jesus is the creator incarnate, then you kind of have to do what he says. And there's pretty good evidence to believe he is the creator incarnate. And that is, besides the Christological stuff, it is the physical evidence, which would be the Shroud of Turin. Okay, so that's the warm-up. We've got 2 more minutes and the show is over. So what a bevy, what are your plans for today? Why don't you start typing that in as I talk about pan? Is it pan or panen? So it's Wadabevi said pantheism or panentheism? And why should we care? That's the bigger question. Why should we care? Is God synonymous with nature? Is nature a representation of God? That would be pretty cool, right? But it's not complete. Study and then work, yoga. Sit in nature, sit in God. You're going to sit in God. I sent you a link. Captain Clink sent a link. I will get to that long list of concerns. Reddit. Aha. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Om Neva Shivam. I just get some texts where people get them, they whine, people who are histrionic, they have a little bit, they need to create commotion so they can solve problems, right? It's a thing that many of us do. We set up a problem. We like solving problems, so sometimes we solve problems, set up problems to solve. It's like some firefighters start fires because they like putting fires out. Okay, so we'll say this. Sorry, people, I have to respond to this. All righty then. All righty then. Okay, so pan or panen? Is God all things? Is nature a reflection of God? Or is it the fruits of God's labor of creating the universe? Does nature naturally come about? I would say, yeah. Why? Because it keeps doing it. We don't have human or outside intervention coming in fixing stuff that we do. It just keeps chugging along, evolving, changing, mutating, etc. There's throughout the history of the 5 billion years of the world, there have been epochs. There have been ice ages and the opposite. There are cycles. There are plate tectonics where everything is moving. Okay. And as life reproduces, if it doesn't make an exact copy, it mutates. And some mutations are better than others. If it's a bad mutation, it dies out. If it's a good mutation, it continues, it expands. No, you didn't derail the podcast. The other text I got derailed the podcast. There's another text from someone else, not you. Not you. Is Lucy out there? Okay, inside joke, people. All right. So, pan or panen? If God is nature, then we got some problems. If God created nature, it's just the way things are. It's just the way things are. There is an ebb and flow, there are cycles, etc. And you got to say, if the universe is 13.8 billion years old, it's pretty rugged. If the Earth is 5 billion years old, it's pretty rugged. It has this ability to react and respond. You can have an asteroid wipe everything out. You can have this, you can have that, and it recovers. It's kind of like the human body, right? You break a bone, it's going to try to knit the bone back together. You get a cut, it's going to try to heal itself. So pantheism, or pan, is all. Panen is in all. Is God all things? Is God nature? Are we a manifestation of God? Well, if we are, we got some problems to answer for, right? If God is in all things, then what? what's the result if God is in all things? That kind of means leaves the door open for active or passive participation, right? If God is in all things, he can passively just experience it. And if God is in all things, in theory, God could become actively involved, assisting the person. If God is all things, then I think it creates a higher level of disorder and disconnect, which could then all be wrapped up into it's how it is. Can't explain it. If God is in all things, then God has the ability to be actively involved and passively involved. Why would God be in all things? Well, according to the Bible, God is spirit, meaning non-baryonic, pure spirit, non-baryonic, no neutrons, protons, electrons, subatomic particles, no matter whatsoever. What if this God creator one day decided to experience what it was like to be baryonic? Poof, there goes the answer. There comes the universe. And one thing an omniscient, omnipresent, and the other omnigod can't do is experience being baryonic until becoming baryonic. You can't experience a thing until the thing occurs. Now, you might try to do a mental mind thing to say, well, if you're omniscient, you can. If you're unlimited, you can. But in the reality of the world, you can't experience a thing until it is a thing, right? Because if you could experience before it actually happens, you're still experiencing it, right? Okay, so we got a couple minutes left. Pan or panen? So I think we should go with the argument panen. And I think by definition, you could say, if the universe was created by God, God is in some sense inside, is part of the universe, right? When we paint something, say, or we make something out of clay, you could argue that part of us is inside the creation, right? Because it was our imagination, our dexterity that created the thing. And there's a painting I can do. There's a painting my daughter Cricket can do. They're right behind me. There's two of them as an example. And there's one from Roxanne over there of Alexander. But these two things I can't do. I can't imitate them. Those reflect what she can do. And something I can do, maybe she could copy it to make it very much like mine, but probably not exactly like mine. She could forge it or have my permission. She could replicate it, but I can't do what she can do no matter how hard I try. I don't have the imagination. I don't see the world the same way. I don't have the dexterity to do it. So in one sense, the creator is in all of the creations the creator creates. So in one sense, it is panen. But does it go to the extent of pan? It is all things. And I would say no. It comes to a very crazy, we can't make sense of it. If God is all things, if this is all God, the positives and negatives of the world, why is there suffering? Why is there this? Well, that's God. It just kind of doesn't make sense. Okay, it's like, what's the point? If everything is God, there's nothing outside of it. And what is the sense of it? We have no free will, etc. So now we are gods. But okay, time is racing. Are you going to a thing, Wadabevi? Are you going to a thing today? sports event? Oh, I think you are. Last game of the season. Well, time is racing. We got to go. Got to say and cut. I try to get Matt back on these things.